Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the challenge, day 11. We continue to walk through the weapon of the stack. Now, the stack may be new to your game, but I'm continuing to emphasize how powerful this tool is. But it's only powerful if you, one, use it, to know how to use it. Yeah, I've got a lot of tools in my workbench out in my garage, and I'm not very handy with tools. And some of them I know basically how to use, and a lot of tools I've had to get rid of because I literally don't even know how to use them. I was given them or whatever. But so a tool can be very powerful, but unless you use it and know how to use it, it's not going to help you. So the stack, that's why it's so important to do a stack every single day, to continue to flex that muscle and get in the habit of doing the stack. Because what are we doing? Our stories are powerful, and you change your story and you're going to change your life. And if you think that somehow you're not telling yourself a story, that in and of itself is a story. We tell ourselves stories every single day about literally everything, about our body, about our relationship with God, about our relationship with our wife, with our kids, with our coworkers, you name it, with our business. We tell ourselves stories about literally everything. And your stories are the key to your success. They can also be the key to your failure. So that's why we're going to continue to go on a hunt every single day to hunt out those stories that are not serving us, to go and get what we want. To kill those stories and create new ones. So today that's what I was doing. I was doing another stack, hunting down the stories. And so that's how we continue to walk through this. Okay, so the top stack is the rage stack. Okay, it's the most involved of all the stacks. And it's the one where you're probably the most aware that you need to stack, because you're just so freaking pissed. Okay, so the rage stack is the biggest one, but it's the most obvious. That when you're in the state of rage, like, I got to do something to process through this. Well, the more we process through our rage, the less we experience rage. I'm not saying you don't, I'm just saying it doesn't seem like we experience it as often. At least that's been my experience. So then that's when we go down to the angry stack. Same thing. The more of the habit you get into it of processing your anger, the less you're going to experience. Now, anger will never go away. Anger is not necessarily a negative emotion, but as we've continued to say, anger must be channeled. It cannot be unleashed. If we unleash our anger, there will be consequences to pay. We must learn how to channel our anger. So when we're constantly on a hunt to deal with our rage, when we're constantly on a hunt to deal with our anger, then we can deal with the emotion when it's at the irritation stage. Okay, and so that's what the irritation stack is. Well, I'm not enraged. I'm not even really angry. I'm just kind of irritated by it. And when we deal with something with their irritation, it's not as intense, but when we deal with it as an irritation, it won't turn into anger and it won't turn into rage. That's why it's so important to, me and my wife, we have to constantly connect and have conversations. Same thing with my kids. If you deal with things when they're irritation, then they don't have to build up to anger, build up to rage, and then you explode, and there's all kinds of consequences. Okay, so the irritation stack is extremely similar to the angry stack. In fact, you really are just changing that word anger to irritation. And it's just another way to label what you're experiencing. Remember, when we label our emotions, when we call them out, and that's one of the things that we do every single time in the stack. Okay, what are you feeling? What are the one-word feelings? Oh, I'm feeling anger. I'm feeling rage. I'm feeling sadness. I'm feeling depression. I'm feeling weak. There's power in labeling our emotions. Otherwise, they just kind of ping around inside of us, and when we label them, it's all of a sudden now we're able to have some objectivity about the emotions. They're still there. There's something about labeling them, then we can learn how to channel them. So labeling them is very, very important. Okay, so the irritation stack is extremely similar to the angry stack. It is less involved than the rage stack, but we just deal with things when they are an irritant instead of letting them turn into anger, turn into rage. Okay, so that is your assignment today, to do an irritation stack. Because when you start your stack, well, what am I going to title the stack? I do this every morning. I'm not even really sure. But if I just spend just about 2 minutes, I'll find something that I'm feeling rage about, anger about, irritation about. You're probably irritated by something. I don't think you've gotten to the place where you can just I am peaceful, nothing irritates me, that's just not life. We're constantly irritated by things. So that's your assignment today, is to do an irritation stack, because I want to continually to challenge you to dust off this weapon of the stack. I've done it many times. I've walked away from it. I've gotten out of the habit of doing it. But when I just make myself enter the discipline of examining my stories, because they're there, whether I want to acknowledge them or not, my stories are there. And they're either driving me forward or they're pulling me back. Most of the time, unless I'm examining them and intentionally changing them, they're pulling me backwards. So that's why we're going to do an irritation stack today. So that's your challenge. Get your app out, get your Warrior app out. If you do not have access to the Warrior app, reach out to me, and we'll get you a subscription to the app, because the app is the powerful tool we can do doing the stack together, dealing with our irritation, our anger, and our rage. So get out your Warrior app, do an irritation stack today. 3, 2, 1, off you go.